And 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Peter Walsh Show. What's the story, lads? That's what we say in Cork. If you're in America, you probably don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But that's what we say, lads. What's the crack, lads? What's the story? You alright? If you understood a word I said. Oh, so guys, it's going to be great. I'm so excited to talk about this. The Formula 1 is back, baby. We're back! We're fucking back! So, we've just got through the F1 season testing in Bahrain last weekend. Now, guys, it was very interesting, actually, I have to say, the testing. Now, if you've seen it, you've probably seen the lap times and you're like, well, there's no fucking surprise there. But actually, I think it's going to be closer than normal, guys. Now, okay, I'm having a look here, right? Like, for instance now, Leclerc, who's driving with Ferrari, he dominated the day 3 and the morning times. Now, so, like, we're going to look at that now. Verstappen wasn't out for this, okay? Now, Verstappen was kicking ass here. I mean, he was 2 tenths ahead of Sainz. Actually, it was more 2.5 tenths ahead of Sainz, who's in the other Ferrari, on day 1 and 2. So, like, Verstappen's been kicking ass. Now, day 3, now, to be honest, I was actually quite surprised, I have to say, that they didn't have Verstappen on the last day. Because, again, the more rubber that gets laid down on the track, the faster the cars will go. And therefore, I mean, if I was racing and if I was in the team, I would have thought they would have had me out in day 3. Now, unless they're feeling extremely confident with Verstappen, right? I mean, guys, honestly, you'd have to have a lot of confidence right now going, you know what, guys? We got this, I think. We're nailing this. Now, maybe they are, maybe they're not. But again, the bullshit stops this weekend in Bahrain for round 1, which is going to be so great, guys. And, before I continue, have you seen Drive to Survive yet? I've watched season 5. Oh my god, guys, it's really good. It's really good. Now, it did feel a little repetitive, I have to say. If we don't do it this weekend or we don't finish 4th, well, we might as well pack our bags and close up the team and finish it, everything. We're done. Like, we'll never come back again. It's kind of like all the high stakes bullshit every now and then. So, there is a bit of repetition, I have to say, and it gets a bit boring after a while, if we don't win here, we're fucked. Like, give me a break. You'll be all right. Now, I do agree that, racing drivers, you're only good as your last race, but it doesn't mean if you fucking have a bad race the next weekend, you're going to be fired, okay? Just a little too dramatic for my liking now. However, guys, I would say some great entertainment. And you know what, guys? And I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. I would take that half a point off simply for the fact that, this sort of, do or die bullshit is just a little repetitive at this stage now. Like, we've seen it happen all the way through round 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5. And you know what actually pisses me off about the racing drivers these days? Like, this really pisses me off, and it makes me cringe when I watch them. I have never seen racing team owners, mechanics, and drivers be so happy to finish in 5th or 6th position. I mean, what are we doing? Giving 5th and 6th place fucking trophies out now? Giving each other pats on the back? Because they fucking are at this stage. Like, I can tell you now, lads, for a fucking fact, if I was in Formula 1 right now, and if I was still racing, and if I'm in, let's say, fucking Haas or Williams or Aston Martin, and I'm coming in 6th or 7th, or maybe if I get 1 point, I scrounge that 1 point at 10th position, I'm not coming in high-fiving everybody. I'm not. Like, this is what we're applauding? Are you kidding me? We're here to win. Now, yes, we don't have the budgets like the Mercedes and the Red Bulls or whatever, okay? And, you've got to be realistic. But let's be fucking realistic here. You got into racing to fucking win. And guys, you swear they won the Formula 1 World Championship when they finish 8th or 9th. I mean, it's fucking cringe. Because you know what? That is settling for a shitty result, because it is a shitty result. It might be a good result for a small team, yeah. And you know what? You can be satisfied, right? You know, satisfied. Okay, guys. Okay, this is improvement, right? Okay, guys, we're getting somewhere now, maybe, right? Right? It shows you hope, promise that, okay, maybe, guys, we're going in the right direction here. But to start fucking high-fiving, slapping each other in the ass, fucking whipping out the fucking towels, fucking, hey, man. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Jesus. Drives me nuts. Drives me insane. Anyway, okay, guys, I'm going off on a fucking rant here again. I'm always going on rants, aren't I? Jesus Christ. All right, anyway. So back to the preseason testing. So guys, yeah, I think Leclerc's I think Verstappen's looking in a real good shape. Now, Perez, his teammate in the Red Bull. Now, if you I'm looking at the results here now on day 3 morning time. So you got Leclerc on a 31.0. He did 67 laps. You got Russell 4/10 behind, which is a hell of a lot. He did 83 laps. Now, look, again, you don't know. Drugovich. Now, Drugovich is in the Aston Martin this weekend. Well, it looks like he's going to be. He did 77 laps. Now, he's a second behind. Which is, of course, it's a fucking lifetime a second behind. Now, the thing is, Drugovich, this is an interesting one because, as I think many of you know, and you might know, Lance Stroll had a biking accident I think it was in Spain. So he's got a couple of injuries. Nothing major, touch wood. Hopefully he recovers well. God love him. But yeah, he's missing the first round. And so yeah, Drugovich is jumping in for him now. Lucky for Drugovich, of course. So, you know, for him to be a second off the pace, he probably hasn't had that much testing. Now, he probably went in a race spec. So let's not be getting too carried away here, guys, right? He could have had a very, very low fuel car and a run. So it's hard to know. It really is. Even with Leclerc, even with Verstappen topping the time sheet last week, it's still hard to know who's going to come out where. You know, and in fairness, I'll give Christian Horner that he went. I think it was a Netflix Drive to Survive season 1. He came out with a good comment. He said, "You know, it's only until you pull your pants down at the first round that we'll see how big your equipment is, but you only know at the round 1." You know, and it is true, guys. But you know, it does look like potential. Verstappen's going to be up there. Perez, now he finished 4th on the Sunday morning, 1.4 behind. Now he did 69 laps versus Leclerc 67. But again, I wouldn't worry about the amount of laps there. They're pretty much similar. 1.4, he's probably doing a high fuel run, I would imagine. Probably hard compound tires, race setup, race distance, I would imagine. So you got Gasly in the Alpine, 1.7, Albon in the Williams. Yeah, they're probably doing race spec, race runs. Hulkenberg, now that's an interesting combination, Hulkenberg and Magnussen this year. Because, as well, I think many of you know, Hulkenberg and Magnussen never got on. And they've had some real fucking argy-bargies, not physically, but they've had some fucking heated battles, you could say, putting it politely, throughout the years. You'll see a bit of that on Netflix Drive to Survive. And, sorry guys, just taking some water here. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I think if you'd had to put a bet on, you'd have to put your money on either Leclerc or Sainz or Verstappen. In fact, I'd even go with the 2 Ferraris and Verstappen, not Perez. Because, well, Verstappen is their golden boy. He gets the best of everything. So I genuinely think here that you'll have Verstappen up there, and I've got a sneaky suspicion about Sainz. For some reason, like, he was doing very, very well all weekend, and I don't know. There's something about it. So if my money's putting on anybody this weekend, again, guys, look, I could be wrong because you never know until the first round. If I'm putting my money on it, I would say Verstappen, Leclerc, or Sainz, all 3 could win the first round. And the great thing about it, guys, as well, is that, as most of you know, there's that budget cap now, right? So it restricts the top teams spending, fucking astronomical fortunes into developing the car. And if they can do that, then they can get the car quicker. But now there's a cap on it. There's a limit. So, and in fact, they're saying now that the limit of spending has gone down for even this year now. So technically, it should make the racing even closer, which is unfucking real. Excuse me. So I think it's going to be, oh guys, I think it's going to be one hell of a weekend. I think if I'm right, and if the Ferraris and Verstappen are right up there and they're kicking ass, I think what you'll have is Ferrari would take the qualifying, they'll take pole position. But then if last year's anything to go by, I would say Verstappen then would take the race win. Now, I mean, Adrian Newey, guys, oh my God, he's without doubt the best aerodynamic engineer out there. Well, he's up there in the top three of all time. He's unbelievable, and he's definitely the best out there right now. He is the fucking man. And it goes to show, guys, right, the way Mercedes has been so dominant for so many years, and take out the Lewis Hamilton fact, it's not because they had Hamilton, it's because the Mercedes car was so fucking good. All right? Okay? They had so much money to throw at it. Okay? But now that, and all of a sudden, they dominated for 7 years, guys. 7 years in a row. And then all of a sudden, a budget cap comes in, prevents them from spending the astronomical amounts of money. And guess what happens? They're in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So it just goes to show right there how much money is involved and how important money is. And you know, guys, I'm not a huge fan of Mercedes. I love their cars, road cars, yes. I'm not a huge fan of the Formula 1 team, but you know what? If you've got the money, you're going to spend it, of course, just like Mercedes. That's just a stupid question to ask anybody. If you did ask anyone, of course you'd spend the fucking money. You know? I think there'll be some good heated battles this year. I think, everybody's talking about that the racing should be better now with these new cars. Right, and now I think most of you know with the porpoising, right, where the porpoising was a huge problem last year, where they'd be going down the straight and the car's just bouncing, right? Now, it looks like that they're ironing out that problem, because, it does take some time for these teams to see what the fuck is going on, first of all. How is it happening? And then identify when is it going to happen. Is it going to happen this track, here, and then to test. It's just a matter of testing, trial. Okay, that didn't work, this worked. So it's going to take them time to get rid of this porpoising. And I think once they do, I think then things are going to get really interesting, because then they're really going to get a grip of the car, and it's going to make them dig deeper, guys. Whereas Mercedes were throwing our money at a problem, okay? And it's not the quick fix, but it definitely helped to just get that extra performance out of the car. Whereas now they've got to go back to basics, right? More basics. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait for the first round. Oh my God. And it's amazing. It only ended in December. Jesus. And here we are at the end of March, or the end of February, start of March. Good God. Unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. And here we go until December. Amazing. Or actually, do they shut the season down a little earlier this year? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's going to be one hell of a long year of Formula 1 racing. Hopefully, guys, we're going to have a great one. I'm going to be talking about this more now after the race weekend. So this is my pre-race podcast on Bahrain. Bahrain, round 1, the Formula 1 2023. If I had to put my money on it, it's really hard, guys, to start talking about the round 1 first, because again, there's no race of 2023 to base it off yet, right? So we'll definitely have more to talk about for the next podcast for round 2. But I'll be back after race 1, talk about the post-race interviews and the news, the drama. Hopefully Lance Stroll gets a comes to a speedy recovery. Get well, sir. Get well. And yeah, here we go, guys. Let's strap yourself in. It's going to be one hell of a race weekend. And guys, before I go, don't forget Netflix, Drive to Survive. Get on it. There's 5 seasons. Now, I will say one thing. When I started to watch it at the start, I'm sure everybody can relate to this. You start watching something and, you know, the first 2, maybe 3, you're like, it's okay. All right? And I had that too. Even though I'm a racing driver, I had that. I was like, well, it's all right. But trust me, guys, get to about episode 3, episode 4 of season 1 of Drive to Survive, you will be fucking hooked. Just give it the 4, fuck it, give it 5 episodes. Give it 4 or 5 episodes. And by the way, they're only half an hour long. Right? But I definitely think that at the start, the first 2 or 3 will be enough to keep your interest in it. Okay? So guys, get on Drive to Survive, and yeah, let's I think I'll say it again. My money's on Verstappen for the win, Sainz in second, Leclerc third, and Perez fourth. Well, let's see. Cheers, guys. Bye.